Greetings everyone, and Grat here for another Advance Wars Days of Ruin Tiny Wars replay. Spawn on the left side as the red Waylon, we got Benchwarmer2. Spawn on the left side or right side as the blue Grat, we got Come Swallower. A very pleasant name. Waylon has been buffed from the cartridge counterpart. His boarding cost is 30% rather than 50%. Standard, he still retains a 2 radius, 30, 60, 60. Standard expansion and CO zone. He still retains plus 10% offense defense for all units, and all area units get additional plus 20% offense and 40% defense, making area units have a minimum plus 50% defense. And CO power has been buffed. Still provides plus 10 global, area units get plus 20% offense, and then his area units get a staggering plus 300% defense globally. The plus 300% defense globally effectively reduces your damage received by 75%, if my math is incorrect. Grat is a custom CO, has standard boarding cost, no radius like Tabata, 20, 50, 50, so her CO zone does expand a little bit quicker. She provides in her CO zone, initially only for herself, plus 10% offense and defense, and all units, including direct ones, get plus 1 max range, and this acts like the battleship. And of course, if she does manage to get her CO power, she of course can provide this globally, but instead of plus 1 range, it is plus 2, making them all into mini battleships. Yep. I always love how both what appears to be both Days of Ruin and Advance Wars by Web doesn't have any limitations where you can make your names. There was a game where I casted where it was a Vombolt whose name was Fuckface69. Either way, let's get started. This is a 3-base map, 1 airport, also a handful of seaports in the map, but with the amount of shores on the field, it's not meant for any blue water ships, just the brown water coastal ships. That is probably referencing the many different wrong games. In other words, transports only. No blue water navies. Of course, both players do start out with a gunboat on top of the HQ to prevent any sort of sneaky or just a bit of buffer for the HQ to capture. And I do believe the gunboats do actually get 4-star defense. They're not like area units which ignore defense stars unless on top of an airport or a temporary airport. Pretty sure they get defense stars from temporary airports. I'm really assuming they're getting defense stars from temporary airports, I don't know why. Now I'm starting to second guess myself. Well, if Tasha can swear, why can't the players themselves? Oh yeah, she did do a little bit. The game is rated teen, right? Or was it rated E10? Every game's a little bit different when it comes to swears. Though the most annoying character from the game, or the character I just hate the most, is probably the mayor. We do have this lander over here, and same tile position over here. Bit of a boost there. Many captures going on. No. Yep, just bikes and infantry. No. Oh, we got a recon up north. Yep. Oh, here's a really stupid fun fact. I never realized until I started casting Days of Ruin or Tiny Wars online. I never knew there was a evil counterpart to the CO power music because, let's just be frank, in the campaign, the enemy COs never managed to get a CO power. And Waylon does have the evil. I'm pretty sure he has the evil soundtrack for the CO power, right? He should at least. Though he is actually relatively unique when it comes to the Advanced Wars series, where he's just self-interested. It's just a selfish man who's just more close to a mercenary. Most of the times they're like black and white. The recon push forward and directs that capture there. Grat can fire from her current position onto the recon. Plus, there's also no other air defense COs in the series. So he is actually one of the more unique characters of all the Advanced Wars, which is sort of surprising. Surprisingly, mercenaries who only look out for themselves is a rare concept in this war game. Does get a good shot down there. Waylon's now 10 energy. He has loaded himself into a regular tank. So he still applies himself +10/+10. But he can always get battlecopters boosted by popping the superpower. And he is starting to get a bit of a swarm of battlecopters. Grat can engage the battlecopters at range with her command tank. Not great with the machine gun, but still, she can actually somewhat fight battlecopters safely. Waylon's tank here should get a good shot, but he has nothing to really stop the battlecopter. The anti-air may be a little bit behind. He could load the anti-air over here and try pushing forward a little bit farther forward than normal. That'd probably be a good choice. Grat's up to 18 energy. She does not got them +1 radius. Yeah, as much as Grat seems like she would be a very powerful CO, Tabata still does the dueling effect better than she does. Command tank did a good strike there. She did get +1 radius from that. She did get enough retaliation damage. So now this is where Grat actually becomes useful. Where she gets the +1 radius, there's a lot of things she can do here. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, tank. Because now, for those who don't know how Grat exactly works, the +1 range is applied from where you start. So, if you had, say, a tank right here, and move it, say, up north out of the radius, it still retains +1 range until the end of its turn. This is where Grat becomes actually powerful. Oh, when it comes to the custom COs, the Tiny Wars devs and the Discord server does do like a yearly, players can submit their CO design as it maybe gets implemented in the game sort of aspect. Since the CO pool is much smaller for Days of Ruin, they're not afraid to add in some extra COs. Does delete the gunboat there to allow the battlecopter to get on top of the HQ, so Waylon can redeploy his CO unit onto this HQ, but he also went for double battlecopter, which is actually still pretty rare on this map, even with 2 airports. Battlecopter does strike the battlecopter, but it can pull back to let the battlecopter strike the battlecopter. Yeah, for some other reason, it always seems like Grat's actually a weaker CO, even though her powers seem like it's fantastic. Right now, I actually believe it's better to load Grat up initially to an anti-air of all things, so she could start picking off infantry units there to get her CO zone powered up, so she can start pushing other units to actually do some actual good work. Nice little merge there. This battlecopter will push forward. You can see there, he pushes CO unit into the radius there to get the boosted damage. Allowing him to easily finish off that battlecopter there. And now, Waylon does have his CO power and a good swarm of battlecopters, so we may see his CO power next turn. He doesn't get any plus movement range for his air units, so he could hold off for a little bit, try to edge battlecopters in a good position before trying to swarm on in. But with plus 300% defense, I believe he takes 75% less damage. Oh, you saw there? Anti-air right here. And push forward right here to engage this battlecopter here. It is where you start from, not where you end on. The extra defense did save the battlecopter. And you saw the same thing there with the infantry unit. This is where Grat becomes useful. It's actually difficult to get her +1 CO zone because she doesn't have the same firepower as Tabata. Even though she has a smaller requirement to expand the CO zone, it's easier to still do it with Tabata because she can just nuke 4 or 3 units no problem, while Grat has trouble nuking 2 units in one turn. That's why I say anti-air is better for her. It's easier for a Grat anti-air to one-shot an infantry unit. We may see Waylon's CO power. He may need to use his tank there. Let's see what he does. Does pop it and lands itself on City for 2 defense stars. And for those who are more familiar with other advanced wars, cities have 2 defense stars, forests have 3 in Days of Ruin. Good picks there. We'll take a look at the defense aspect there. One shot's the battlecopter. Is that unit there? Grat has 25 energy. She doesn't have too much energy at the moment. Halfway to her power. And of course, William will have +10 global. Even put some machine gun rounds in the anti-air, finish it off. Waylon will end the turn with 140. Grat will start turn with 102. And let's take a look at that absurd defense. You can see here, Battlecopter has right now plus 310% defense. Let's see now. We'll take a look at this one here. You can see here, anti-air does 25 damage, base damage versus the Battlecopter right now. What should be a one-shot is far from it. It's not even guaranteed to pick it off if it rolls minimal luck. Now with that Battlecopter load up there, still retains the same defense there. Yeah, that's Waylon now. Is he actually a little bit more useful? Aerosol coated, chrome coated. Now all of his battlecopters are chrome lined somehow and not get crashed with all the extra weight. And that's why he's just focusing, Grat's focused down all the infantry units there, because it's easier to take on the infantry than the battlecopters. Ends turn of 124, Waylon starts turn 123, so it's still day-to-day difference. So not massive advantage at the moment. And he's going to get some decent energy charge this turn. Oh, I just realized I didn't see he went for a bomber. Does not take out that anti-air there. A lot of good kills there. Tank. Battlecopter, tank, infantry. Takes out the battlecopter there. The Grat boosted tank does get a shot on that tank. Of course, taking shots outside the CO zone still does not generate any power charge, even though they do get the +1 range. And she decides to pull back the command tank there. She's just trying to keep it safe. She's almost at her superpower, and I don't think I've ever seen Grat pop her superpower. Anti-air, tank. She has gone for a good number of anti-airs for good reason. But turning everything to a mini battleship is going to be quite powerful. Waylon does have the bomber there, has 20 energy stored on up. Managed to one-shot the anti-air thanks to the Waylon boosted zone. After all, it would have +30% firepower, able to really break through the anti-air's little bit of survivability. And Waylon is at 55 energy. He is 56 energy. He won't get a CO power this turn. He needs 3 more energy, and there's only 2 more there. One thing that Grat could do is keep her units away from the CO zone in order to prevent another superpower. But Waylon's doing very well this game. And popping another superpower could allow him to be very aggressive aircraft that effectively would have lightning strike, because trying to shoot at them is not great. But it looks like he's going to enter the CO zone. Does get a good strike on the bomber. putting down the half health. Anti-air, tank, battlecopter, bike. With the amount of battlecopters in the field, maybe we better go for a duster, honestly. Yeah, Waylon has no counter to a dust at the moment, not even anti-air in the field as far as I can see. He has enough energy, but looks like he's just straight up pulling back. Yeah, Bluntia is generally a good idea. But in this case, he's just going to regroup and then probably pop it next turn. Right now, he has 125,000 field course as day-to-day. Grat has 127, so they're pretty even the moment. Back down to day-to-day differences. They both have 25,000 income. And we got a war tank now pulled out by Waylon. Grat has gone heavy in anti-air and wants to be a little bit more heavy than medium tank. Medium tanks in Days of Ruin cost 12,000 or 16,000. But they're a bit more vulnerable to tanks. They offer good firepower, but no extra defense really. Just something you need a little bit more edge. Also, I think medium tanks are maybe a little bit too weak in Days of Ruin. I could see them gain like maybe a 10% increase in defense, and I think then they would be a bit more adequate. They just feel a little bit too weak, maybe just 5%. Boost the war tank forward, anti-air. Battlecopter tank, infantry. Battlecopter tank. Those is a battlecopter to strike the war tank. It's on top of a city. Drain a bit of funds. Boosted Grat range there. No CO power by Waylon just yet. This battlecopter would be out of range of this battlecopter there. Thanks to the +1 range of Grat. Grat still needs 9 more energy. She probably won't be able to get in the next turn unless Waylon push a unit close to her CO unit. Maybe a good idea for just to keep his distance away the CO zone, but the +1 CO power, because +2 range of everything would be very, very powerful globally. Here's the battlecopter there. Yeah, just keep units away. Oh, did sack some units there. Does pop the CO power. And now he, of course, has a bunch of defense. Bombs away. And Waylon may try to close up the game now. Does take out those units there. Capture the radar station. Possibly. Global +60, +60. But usually if she does pop it, she generally outright wins the game. It's hard to, yeah, because you get a Sturm Meteor +60, +60 global. So imagine combining Samurai Spirit and Sturm's Meteor Strike in one power. Which is absurd. Tank, anti-air tank. Let's see now. Grat ends with a very even 150,000 on the field. Waylon starts to turn to 156, so they're still pretty even. And sacks that unit there. Gotta be careful not to get her CO power charge. I've never seen her charge her CO power, and nor will I. And losing our command tank like that could be game losing at this point in time. She of course can delete her gunboat to get something CO'd right there, or either CO this tank. Don't think anything. Actually, COing the A-tiers is actually a good option. Maybe she could CO her gunboat and do absolutely nothing. Lots of good kills there. A lot of good kills. She just clean swept up north big time. Clean sweeped. Of course, Waylon still has a pretty good air combat group here. Bomber is actually getting relatively low on fuel, so it may need to fall back to this airport sooner rather than later. Because 5 fuel per turn, it's probably 2 turns away. It's actually getting dangerously close to crashing. It may just need to fall back. That pushes forward. It's at 5 health, so losing it won't be terribly big. Just, what, 20,000 funds? Or 10,000 funds technically remaining in there if it crashes. War tank, bike, tank. And Waylon does have another CO power available. Anti will get a couple good strikes there. Good strike there on that tank, and that tank gets battered, bruised, and beaten. Hits the anti there with a regular tank. Grat's starting to push forward for tanks and backwards. Artillery, battlecopter, infantry. No CO power this turn to use the tank there. Well, his area is going to need the extra firepower to clean up the down south. So using the CO power when his aircraft had to be a bit more aggressive wouldn't be a half bad idea. But right now, Grat only has 2 anti-airs, so the extra defense is not going to be super important. So the extra firepower is going to be a bit more useful at this moment. And Waylon has deployed another bomber. Grat's tank now at 15 energy. You know, like to get killed off next turn. Grat right now has 103,000 field versus 148. Anti-air tank. Battlecopter infantry. Insert 127,000 for 147, and there's CO power. Takes across command tank, no problem. Bomber strikes that unit there and hits the anti-air, finish it off as well. Battlecopter, tank, anti-air infantry. I am curious now. Can't see how much of damage will do to the bomber. The bomber is fully vet, even though I had half health. Regrouping some forces up here. Is all that unit there? I am curious as well. Because we know against battlecopters does 25 damage. Against bombers, only 16. Granted, that is a fully maxed out vet bomber for a little extra defense. Tank infantry and anti-air up north. That bomber is, the last time I checked, it was actually running low on fuel. He has 6 fuel remaining. He needs a rig up, goes for full fighter. Okay, that's probably a bit of a troll fighter, because there is just only battle across the field. And crushing through the right flank as well, or the northern flank. But yeah, it looks like the bomber will go down next turn, strikes the gunboat, merge there. Infantry, infantry, infantry. And looks like this bomber will not go down next turn, but the following. War tank took quite a bit of a pounding there. Does manage to pick off Waylon's command tank there with Grat's command tank, gaining 5 energy. I have a feeling Waylon's going to put the fighter on top of the HQ to CO it. Yep, he's going to CO it next turn. War tank's probably getting pretty low on ammo as well, down to 1 ammo. Bomber is down to 1 fuel, so will crash next turn. Bomber up north gains some great hits there. Tank finish off some other units. War tank falls back to the city. And does strike the interior as well and finish off that unit. Pike, infantry, duster. And of course, rig. Tank, tank, tank. Both players are still at 25,000. Grat's at 87 versus 130. Of course, what Waylon does is day to day. Of course, Waylon did CO his fire just because he could. Grat has loaded herself up into a battlecopter. Good kills though. The tank could finish off the artillery piece. Thus, yes it does. And I think Grat's pretty much done for. 65,000 versus 140. Tank, battlecopter. Strikes the command aircraft, command fighter, the ace fighter. Anti-air infantry. Anti-air, battlecopter infantry. Yeah, this game's ultimately over in my opinion. I don't think there's any way that Grat could come back. Does take out Waylon's fighter. Does a bit of a joke fighter. Just CO this battlecopter over here. No, capturing some of these temporary airports would be a good idea. I suppose this one is captured. Wasn't really paying attention to that. What if the bomber could have made it back there in time? I forgot there was temporary airports players could capture. I sort of like the maps where we can capture temporary airports, or even just have one nearby the regular airport. This gives it a little more flexibility so you don't have to worry about occupying the airport space. Waylon's on to capture Gundam property is 28,000 with 22,000 income. T-copter, anti-air tank infantry. Anti-air there. Battlecopter, bike, and another anti-air. War tank has definitely got a good number of kills. Deploys a temporary airport in the map, which could be quite nice. Waylon's loaded himself up with this battlecopter. No strikes there. Puts that other battlecopter on top of the temporary airport to get a bit of resupply. Tank, mech, infantry. Anti-air artillery, and of course another anti-air down south. And looks like he's going to try to grab some of these properties here. Force a bit of a reaction. Also, let's finish off there, just leaving the command. Nope. Now nothing can respond up there. Could probably just keep the helicopter on the shore, preventing any sort of lander to interrupt, or landing. Medium tank. You also have a gunboat here. May try to interrupt the lander of the gunboat. And this battleship. Okay, that's... She's probably going to resign relatively soon if she went for a battleship there to prevent two properties from being decaptured. Though, at this point in time, the battleship can get some good coverage. The battleship can move and shoot in the same turn. And Duster does block the one tower and needs to exit. You got a shore tower there and cannot leave through there. You have to get a temporary port or a temporary seaport to get a capability to move there. So great Duster placement there. Though the battleship can still strike some targets from over here. Another gunboat by Waylon. Yep, and he's just sort of messing around a little bit at this one time. There is actually, I think, single-player content. Some custom missions, and I think also, like, in Advanced Wars by Web, the whole campaign. After this game, we can take a quick look for you. CO's the good battleship, because why not? Right now, Waylon's at 28,000. More properties not being kept for more. Does get a good strike there from the mech. Does strike the lander there, knocks it out. Of course, Duster can just keep the battleship there, though I suppose the battleship can always go back this direction. Yep. Yeah, I think this is point in time. It's one of those syndromes where some players just don't back out the game. There's no way to come back at this point in time. Right now, double the value, 186 versus 82 starting. Not to mention the income difference as well. Mech battlecopter, anti-air. It looks like Waylon's bringing in multiple... Yep, he's bringing multiple rigs. He may try to establish a chain of temporary seaports in order to get a battleship over here, I guess. Though, all the other shores, and it's still not going to be useful. I think at this point in time, both players are just messing around. Yeah, there's a bridge on sea rather than a bridge on shore. I wonder, can a bridge on sea or shore be upgraded with a temporary seaport? Got a rocket now floating in the field. A new Advanced Wars on Switch 2? Probably not. Advanced Wars may be a dead series, because apparently the, I think it was Advanced Wars Reboot Camp did not perform as well as they would like. At this point in time, any chance of a new Advanced Wars game will probably have to be at least licensed to a third-party company. That's my best guess. They may, some company may just try to buy the IP. After all, a game like this, of course, can be recreated through a web browser, but as well as could be perhaps recreated in Unity to be sold on such as Steam, and also perhaps ported over to the Switch. I never bought the Switch, nor the Switch, and I'm probably not going to buy a Switch 2. Maybe I will. A couple games sort of piqued my interest, like Shin Megami Tensei 5, but that's about it. And I just have enough games on PC. I just have enough games on PC. None of the games on the Switch really interested me other than Shin Megami Tensei 5. ATR, tank. That makes sense. Also, if it's a console that multiple people can share, that wouldn't be half a bad idea. Good strikes there. The gunboat strikes the battleship, doing 5 points of damage, 5% damage. And we've got an aircraft carrier. Will we see some seaplanes? Yeah, but I'm sort of just... I'm done with the replay. This game's just like, Waylon should just knock out the gunboat and just finish off the game. But I think they're both just messing around at this point in time. So I wonder, there's a 3 operations button. I wonder what happens if I click it. Oh crap. That just fast forwarded to the end of the game. Oops. Oh well, the game is ultimately over. My apologies. This is Grade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay.